Hi everyone, are you there? Can we continue again? It's 7:30, 1:32 now. Okay. So can you see the slide? So in the
Yeah.
same yes, Kelvin, thank you.
If
So
you don't mind, Doctor, to enlarge the slides, please.
was I sorry?
Just to enlarge the slides, please.
Analyze the slide. Okay, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, just now we are in this slide. Okay. If you look the roles of a research supervisor, okay, they are there to review your thesis progress and also evaluate thesis readiness before submission. As I mentioned before this, okay, they are the person or the main person who will say, yes, you are good to go for your Viva and things like that, especially for PhD. And then they are there to guide you, your research effort. Obviously, they are not to conduct the research for you. It is your research. Okay, you have to find the contribution, originality, novelty. Okay, so the role of the supervisor is only to guide you. So that's the reason. It's the end of the day is your research. When you present the Viva time, only you know better compared to the rest of the people in that room. Okay, next. If you look, is a we want to choose a suitable supervisor, you need to make sure that your supervisor is knowledgeable in the area that you wish to work on. If you have your area that you have in your mind, then look for that supervisor who are knowledgeable in that area. At least something, okay? At least something that's related to the area that you are working on. Look at his her track record in publication and supervision. I mentioned it before. You look all his publication and also the supervision that he did before. Okay, you can get some feedback from the former student. This is normally the students will check, especially students who are coming from overseas. They will ask their seniors. Okay, but the best way is to speak to him or her directly. What is their style of working? Also, you need to know. Okay, normally this one you need to know based on the people's mouth to mouth marketing, we call that. Okay, how normally this supervisor works. Okay, is they are demanding so much from the students? Are they very easygoing but end up fail the student and things that depend on the this one. Different lectures have different patterns, so you need to know them. Okay, which one suits you? Are they demands a weekly meeting or see me only if you have a problem? So both has a pro and cons. You need to know that. Okay, what is their availability? Will they have time? Okay, as I mentioned earlier, if they are looking for a supervisor who was a dean, who was a VC, or has a very high what they call roles in the school, administrative roles. Therefore, you have less time with him. Okay, and then next you need to have, are you comfortable with his or her character and style of work? Some students are coming from a different gender. You might choose only guys, you only choose the girls or things like that, depending on you. Okay, who you want to select as your supervisor. Can you satisfy their expectation on the topic you have chosen? This one is not easy to understand at the early stage. Okay, it's only happen in the between of middle stage. Then only you know that your expectation is not that easy to satisfy. So you need to play your role more. Okay. Managing a good student supervisor relationship is also very important. Okay, like everything, it takes effort to make it work well. Yes, true. Okay, because your relationship when you start with the supervisor is depending on you, how you maintain that. Okay, if your supervisor asks you, okay, another 2 weeks, show me your progress report, but you don't send anything, so that will give you from 100% relationship become 90%. Slowly, if you really going to spoil your relationship, if you keep on doing and you don't submit your progress, you don't do your work, and that's it. You can forget your supervisor. You're going to fail you at the end of the day, right? So you need to maintain a good relationship so that he is the one going to support you. So main thing is going to support you, okay, with the work that you did, okay, and then guide you. Begin by laying out all the milestones in your program, attach dates and expectation for both. Normally, when you meet your supervisor or you are having a conversation with the supervisor, try to have some kind of, not to say agreement. Okay, normally with the COVID, we know that you don't see face to face. Maybe you record the session of the WebEx, or maybe any email you put. Okay, please keep a copy. What is the expectation? So that you know that in the next meeting you mentioned, okay, sir, last week you mentioned this is this. I already did this is this. Okay, so that you also know that you are keeping record on that. Okay, the reason why I ask you this to do so because supervisors are coming from a different background. They have a lot of roles playing in the school. Okay, they might have a flight of ideas, but you have only limited time. Remember, you have only 3 years for you to do your PhD thesis. So in that sense, you cannot do everything that you're supposed. You cannot satisfy everything that you're supposed to ask you to do so. But obviously, there is a reason for him to do because. But if you feel that there's something that you say, why the last week you asked me to do, say this one, suddenly you ask me to change. Maybe he will give you a reason for it. Okay, but if you keep record and you make sure every time you go back and you show, okay, previous week we already did this, Prof. This week we are going to do. So your progress you're showing. So that's good. Okay. The expectation should be for both parties. Okay. What you are expecting from that experiment. Okay. What's the result you want to achieve? Is the supervisor also happy? Okay, he's happy. Done. You go on. Okay. Revise as needed, but do so together. Okay. Normally we ask you to do with your supervisor about revision. Send him. Okay. Send him a copy before you meet him. Okay, maybe you want to meet next Friday. So on Monday, make sure you already get everything. At least you have a time to go through before your meeting. Okay. Keep track all the discussion and decision, very important. And retain all emails. And this one you can compile them in a folder and try. This is to make sure to safeguard yourself as well. At the end of the day, if anything happens, you can say this is a what, how frequent you meet your supervisor and what is missing. Is send email summaries to your supervisor. Okay, normally if you have a verbal conversation, write it down. Okay, so you mentioned this. Can you check is that this is what I got it? Is that correct? So that his understanding and your understanding is matching. And then also save the mails. And if you have any conflicts, deal with the problem early. Okay, don't let it go and it try to from a small problem become a very huge problem, and deal them appropriately. Don't just because your supervisor don't entertain you one time, straight away you send it to the dean or even vice chancellor, because nowadays very easy. You just can CC, you can put an email and then just get the email address. Next minute the VC will get the email. Am I right? So you need to make sure you don't want to spoil your relationship. Okay, you want the relationship to be not to say you are what they call don't care about your supervisor. This one, if it is really serious, then go one level up, then go to the dean. If the dean cannot solve, then only go to vice chancellor. That's the thing. So you need to go by step by step. If the supervisor cannot solve, you go to the person who in charge about the program. And then if the person also not really keen to help you, go to the dean. By the time you go to the dean, it's already clear. I hope that's how normally do. Okay, unless the dean also not supportive, then you go to vice chancellor. It's okay. It's not that I don't ask you to do, but what I say is don't spoil your relationship or just take it the complete and then put it in every world to know. End of the day, people know you are the one sending the email. So need to be very careful because end of the day, you going to finish your studies because academic world is very small. Okay, this is also another experience I would like to share because in what you call one of my friend who go when I go to what he calls Scotland, Glasgow to do my PhD. There's another friend who did her PhD in another state, which is if you take it out, you can easily know who are they. But they are not coming from the same school, our school. Okay, not our school. So they go to New Zealand. Okay, and she went there in New Zealand and she find out that the supervisor is not right for her. Okay, and end up she mentioned it to the dean, and the dean she emailed to the dean and mentioned I cannot tolerate with this supervisor. I want to change the supervisor. Nobody want to take. You understand? So that's the danger as well. So because they will think in their mind as a lecturer, they will think the student has a problem and they don't want to be in the same boat the next time, okay, to get a complaint and then go to the dean and things like that. So everybody wants a smooth life. So make sure you have a good relationship with the student. Unless it's a very bad and you really cannot tolerate, every time you email, you don't get a reply. Every time you want to get a help, you don't get a response. So things like that, you need to voice it out. So things like that, you need to make sure somebody else heard. Okay, I'm here every time here to listen to your problem. If you want any advice, I'm here. Okay, not only for this course, I can help you in the other sense as well, in terms of advice and how you can deal and go nicely. Okay, no problem. Try to resolve with the supervisor directly. That's the best way you can do so, because they are human. They also want to be nice to you unless they don't understand what's the problem going on. Okay, present rational argument and give him or her all the information she or he needs to understand your point of view. Don't go every time with an excuse. Okay, before you go and meet, you already have your progress. You have in your hand what is you did for last 2 hours. So that will help, okay, your conversation. Okay, don't assume they know. Don't sit in your room and then cry inside your room until they don't know that there's something wrong with them and things like that. Talk to her or him directly about the problem. Focus on things that you know to be facts and how they impact on you. Listen to his or her argument carefully. Appreciate the obligation to the university and to your discipline. Okay, when you will be nice, automatically they will be nice to you. Unless you be nice, they are not too nice, then you go one step higher, you go to another authority. Remember that personal issue cannot override academic concern. Obviously, I have a student who has a four wife and came to me and have a problem and things like that. But end of the day, as a human, I do understand. But the thing is, you cannot use that personal concern or personal issue comes as a to override your academic concern. Okay, you come here to study, you make sure you study. You make sure do your duty as a student. That's important. Obviously, we understand we do give and take. Okay, if your supervisor is good, they can give and take, but don't give the whole 3 years. You give an excuse and you want to get a free PhD. There's no way you will get that. Okay, act professionally even when the other person does not. So when you email, act professionally. Email nicely. Okay, mention it very nicely. Okay, if it is a doctor, mention it a doctor, is a professor, mention him a professor, things like that. So be clear, be polite, be humble, you'll be successful. Okay. Any question until now? We have a nice slide for today's session actually. Hold on. Any question? If you have any question, someone I think they put in the what do you call in the maybe I read this question. Very long, Raji, yeah? So how can we check the student supervisor, specific supervisor in time past or the project supervised by him or either school of computer science or library? What is it? Or the project supervised by him or her, either schools, computer science or library? I don't understand your question, Raji. What is this? How can we check the student supervised by a specific supervisor? The information about supervision is in the website. Some lecturers update them, some lecturers not. You can have a list on that, or you can ask the seniors. Okay, this is what to answer you. Okay, about to check the supervision. Okay, right? So some of them they regularly update the website to mention who they supervise and when they graduate and all this. The information in the website. So maybe you don't get the information in the website, you can easily check, okay, in maybe in Google and this on the person, and then check what they already published, and then slowly from there you can dig who are the student all about. Okay, are the students still like this or maybe already graduate? Okay, wait, I try to open another file, which is we're going to learn about research approach next slide. Hold on. Can you see the slide? I will enlarge it.
Yes, sir, we can see it.
Thank
Yes.
you, Rama, to be very proactive. Okay, next we are going to learn about research approaches is from your dean. Okay.
Yes, Doctor.
Okay, what is research? Okay, you don't have any question about supervisor, the topic, all that, huh? The first slides. Any question? I welcome
Hello.
any question on
Yes,
your
sir.
mic.
I have questions, sir.
Yes, please.
Yeah, you mentioned that before we choose our supervisors, we should know the kind of supervisor we're going to choose. If it's a kind of a busy person or something like that. And if some supervisor may be busy and they don't have official tasks on their head, and then we that we are international students and we're not there, how do we know then? How do we know that this person is busy or is already engaged?
The information is all in the website. If you look, okay, let's say I'm talking about busy means the roles of the supervisor. Let's say most busiest person in the School of Computer Science is the dean. The next is going to be the deputy dean. We have TD, right? Timbalan Dekan, we call it in Malaysia. Okay. So they are the most busiest person in the school among all the academicians. Okay, it doesn't mean that you don't select them as your dean. Okay, if Prof. Bari said, heard this question from me, is coming from me, he will be very disappointed. If he say, I'm ready to take you as a student, he's already ready. He's going to commit some hours. But the thing is, what I mentioned here, you need to check and balance and see. Okay, your expectation should be there. How much time they can spend. Okay, you can easily, like me, you can easily call me and say, can I have a meeting with you maybe in an hour time? I can say yes. Maybe most of the time I'm okay. But sometimes if I'm full with the what they call, especially during the semester, before the semester, I'm quite busy with the program and things like that. Yes, I would say no, we will do it by next day or maybe 11 o'clock and things like that. So, but the dean is normally their schedule is quite packed. You need to go through their, as what they call, they always have a clerk for her. I mean, we call as a PA. Okay, not to say PA, what do they call? Is it PA? They have the admin people to take care of their schedule. Okay, so that's the reason. And then you have to check who are very busy, who are not busy. You can check in the web itself, website. I mean, computer science website, School of Computer Science USA website. You can see what are the roles. Okay, after the TD, they maybe have a program chairman and things like that. And then the best way is to communicate to them. If they are, you already communicate and you mention to them that I'm going to do PhD under you, so I'm interested to do under you. Are you free to be my supervisor? They are mostly, they will welcome you. They are more than happy to welcome you, obviously. But the thing is, you need to make sure they communicate to you. And if some lecturers they say no, if you cannot give me a good proposal, I don't take you. It's my style as well, same. Okay, if you don't come up with your own this one, even though you know that I'm from software engineering, software metric, and things like that, if you don't come up with your own topics and they ask me straight away, sir, is there any project for you need to do? I'll say no. Okay, so it's back to back. It's depend on the supervisor and also the students as well. Okay, Jibrin, any other question?
That yes, that one is understand. The second one is if you want to write a research or you want to comment or you want to contribute on the previous or existing research existing work, are you going to write everything from the maybe like introduction and the abstract and other maybe the literature, some literature reviews? Are we going to, is it allowed to write word to word from the previous one since you are contributing to the existing one, not to the fresh one?
You cannot do word to word because at the end of the day, the university there is a process where we will check with using Turnitin. Okay, Turnitin will determine whether this is a copy work or is a original work. But still they give you allowance. Okay, allowance by 13. There's a based on the percentage. They don't allow you to have more than 15%. So even some student is very smart. What they do, they go and even they copy, they put it in maybe in a like an image form. When image form, Turnitin doesn't detect that. But after the Turnitin, there's a panel to check. Okay, so they will determine whether it's a copy work or something like that. So it's depending on how. You cannot just put word to word. The best way for you to summarize it, synthesize it, and also to rephrase them, whatever been mentioned. Unless you want to quote certain things, yes, you're allowed to do so. Do I answer your question?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Again, sir, before you start the next slides, please. Like me now, I'm not added to the course platform. That is a WhatsApp. So please, can you share the link again so that we can just
Which
the people like
which
me, the course platform, that is WhatsApp platform. I'm not included.
You, I think most of the students just get been included because they are in the CS 591, isn't it? You are e-learn, is it?
No, not e-learning. I'm on e-learning, but the link to the to join the group.
Which group? The WhatsApp group, is it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I think the students created. I think someone who are here, maybe they can help you. Maybe you can put your name or and also your info number. They will help you in the chat room. Okay, it's not from
Okay,
me.
okay.
The students'
On the
initiative.
chat box. I'm going to do that now on the chat box.
Okay.
My phone
Some
number will be
WhatsApp
there.
group for our group. Okay, there is one WhatsApp group which is we call ccs591. It's created by the student, and those who are not joining yet, you can join them. Okay, who did that last time? Sorry, Calvin. Do you know who did that? I think it's not Calvin. He tried, and after that another one. Yes, Raman, is it?
Hello, doctor. Yeah, I posted a link here again.
Thank you, Raman. Thank you.
Yes, thank.
I think I already replied your email, Raman. You email me, right?
Yes, I email you, sir.
Oh no, Jibrin, not Jibrin. Another one, I think. Raman. I think I just reply your email today. Okay.
Yes, doctor.
Okay, thank you. So we continue the lecture. Then we have a session of Q&A again at the end of the lecture. Okay, thank you. What is the
Thank you,
research?
sir.
Okay, yeah. We set it down first. Then we finish this one. Then we come back to the question and answer. I like the question and answer. Thank you. So what is research? We try to recall what you did in the first lecture. Okay, we expected to create knowledge or to make a dent to the circle of knowledge. You still remember the one I mentioned? If you start from primary school and then you go to secondary and then you go to the upper level masters and then the PhD is just a small dent. Okay, that's what it's trying to do. Okay, we focus more on the understanding of the issue. Example, the why more than anything. So every single thing we always need to justify. Very important. Sorry for this one just because I've changed from the what you call PDF to PowerPoint. There's a reason some text is something going nearer and there's no space in between. Okay. So the reason here, if you look, we always need to focus on understanding, especially if you're for doing your PhD. Every single thing that you put, you need to justify. Let's say you are using 20 respondent. Examiner will ask, why is only 20? You need to mention it. Okay, you need to justify them why you choose only 20, not 100, not 5. Why not big? Why not small? Why is only 20? So all these magic numbers need justification. Remember, all the magic numbers that you use, okay, is need justification. So how I'm going to justify? Okay, you look at other people. Sorry, someone's mic is on. Ahmad Abid, please off your mic. Ahmad Abid, please off your mic, please. Thank you. Okay, so you need to justify based on your, let's say you already see some papers, okay, they are doing only the survey, they're only having a 20. The other survey only have a 15 or 18. So you try to average them. This is called justification. You put it that reference to support why you choose only 27. If not, that's a question mark. Why you choose these magic numbers? So it's obvious question in the Viva time. Even your supervisor, if not picking up this, they in the Viva time, surely they will ask you. The external or even me or anybody will ask this question. We are the master of our field. What we say, other people will pay attention. It's important. So don't worry. Okay, it's not, I say don't worry means you try to cheat when you're Viva or you try to just lie because you know better. No. but you know better means you try to don't, there's a point where you need to really try to cover yourself as well. Don't show your weakness very obvious, okay? You tell them what you know and different, because normally most of the students get in a danger part when they have these things where they dig their own graveyard, we call that. Okay, the more word you put, that's the word you need to really understand. If not, that will pick it up by the external. They will ask question based on your what you explain, which is not necessary at that point. So very important. How do we go about achieving all those outstanding criteria of academic research? Don't worry, you're going to learn step by step. Okay, right now, what your dilemma is, you need to know what's your research question. And then maybe from there, you look at what's the objective. Is that sufficient for PhD? Is it sufficient for your MSc mixed mode? So obviously, first task for you, you need to find for those MSc mixed mode, you need to find your supervisor, then discuss about the topic. From there, try to draft your research question. From there, slowly you get your proposal done. Okay, for those who are PhD, obviously you already have a supervisor, you already been arranged marriage. Okay, I think based on your what you love and what you really open to do your research, so continue on that. Okay, what is your understanding of your research method? Take 1 or 2 minutes to reflect on this question. Write it down, keywords, explanation, and discussion. Can you do that? Normally, this is normally we do in the class. Okay, self-reflection. What do you understanding about research method? We talk about research. What do you understand about research method? Any one of you can explain without taking your what do you call paper to write? Maybe you can just try. What is the research method?
Doctor, maybe let me try.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Yeah, I think research method answer the question how in the process of doing a research. That is a procedure that is going to be followed in trying to figure out or in trying to solve a particular problem.
Okay, thank you. Any other try?
Can I answer, Doctor?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Systematic investigation to find out some more facts and bring out some more information in a proper way with the help of some numbers or some kind of approach, maybe.
Yeah, good. Okay. It's no wrong or right here. Okay, the way how you rephrase it, that will answer this question. Okay, thanks for your effort anyway. If you look, research method is not only the what you call how you do. Okay, the research in method of getting the information is the process that involved is very important. Okay, research method involves the process how you going to carry out your research. Every single step that you do in order for you to achieve the result will be recorded. And also how it can be the technique, what you choose. Okay, all this is going to be your part of your research method. Okay, and if you look in the term of it, does it really matter which research method I use for my research? Okay, depending on your schools, depending on the school of computer science, depending on what topic you are using, I mean your area. So some lecturers are very strict. They want this kind of research method to be followed. Okay, so some they say they don't like survey type and things like that to do under them for their research. Okay, so they don't really love to do a survey one. They want to have a more we call experimental. They want something more in the term of what you call empirical research, things like that. So you will learn slowly, okay, depending on the supervisor, depending on the topic that you choose. Are they golden rules for everyone to follow and provide? Okay, obviously research method is a very open, okay, open-ended in the here, and what you would like to say is not necessarily you're going to follow exactly the same ways. You might have a different ways, but end of the day is how you come up with the plan. Okay, how you're going to carry out your research. Okay, in your own way, but you're going to do it in a very systematic way. Okay, apparently your research question have some influence on the choice of a research method, because end of the day, what you plan to do is based on your research question is going to influence your research methods. How you're going to solve them, how you're going to get the result. Based on your research question, it's always you will have this influence on the choice of a research method. Okay, so basically this is a philosophical view. Okay, I don't go very detail about this, and the reality, what is all about, is a real world is chaotic. Okay, all relevant question about how it works. Okay, but end of the day, you try to simplify. That's the reason I mentioned to you. You don't solve the real world problem in the all world. I mean, in the whole. What you're going to solve, obviously you're going to solve a real world problem, but it's a very small real world problem. It's not everything. Understand? So you get something and then you try to simplify. You have a hypothesis. From the hypothesis, you try to prove them. Okay. Some research, not necessarily you need to have all the research with the hypothesis. Some research, they don't care about hypothesis at all. Okay. They go straight to empirical, what you call measurement, empirical research. Okay. Reducing the real issue to limited but representative set of components, which is to allow qualitative and also quantitative description of the properties. Okay, again, not necessarily you're going to have both qualitative and also quantitative. Okay, so you might have only qualitative research, you might have only quantitative research. Okay, quantitative means basically you will know later, okay, how to differentiate between qualitative and also quantitative. Okay, the abstract ways always less important details and obtain a model that capture the essence of the issue under the study. Okay, if you look even your research or your what you call your thesis, you have an abstract. Okay, remember this point. Okay, because previous what you call Viva, there's a student who did research during his Viva. I see the been reported, been submitted. The abstract is 2 pages. Try to reduce the maximum 1.5 page. The best is 1 page for your abstract. It's not easy, but it's doable. Don't go 2 page. Full 2 page is too much for abstract, even if you have PhD. So that's the not an easy way. It's not easy for you to concise. Try to compress everything in single page and having every single thing that you want to mention it. That's why we call as a abstract. Okay, because you need to have 2 abstract, Malay and also English and English. For those who are coming from outside of Malaysia, if you don't really have people who can translate for you from Malay, you can always ask your supervisor to help you or your friend and our colleagues who are working in the same area. I mean, same people. I mean, in the same university. You can ask the friends from Malaysia. They can. You can give a small token appreciation to them or things like that. No problem. Because the Google translation from English to Malay is not necessarily right. Okay, some of the word could be a bad words for Malaysian, could be a right words for Indonesian. You understand? It could be a 4-letter words for Malaysian. It could be a right word for Indonesian. So you need to be very careful when you translate. But anyway, normally if you are what you call foreigners, we always have a leniency. We always make sure when you translate, we also help you to translate correctly. Okay? Even when it comes to the Waiwatan, we also, for abstract of Malay, we try to help you. Okay? But don't make it too obvious every single thing is wrong. Okay? Normally, there are people who really check one by one over there in Waiwatan. But main thing, your supervisor will check before he asks you to submit the final version for the Viva. Okay, next, if you look in the term of what you call research method, is I don't want to go very what you call theoretical wise. Mostly, I would like to know is because each and every single one of you going to have a different way of doing your research. You're going to be unique. But obviously, you're going to have a same style, the same concept. But the thing is, what you're going to have, maybe you are doing an machine learning. So maybe you are using a different technique. You are going to choose in that technique. So happen to be your style is going to be totally different compared to someone who are doing in maybe human emotion or things like that. They are looking at the human emotion, and then you plan what's the research method that you want to use, how you're going to carry out your research. Okay, talk to your supervisor. He is the one who's going to be guiding you on that. It's a CS as a science discipline. Why it's a social science and humanity. Obviously, computer science is quite difficult to determine on that because some this one what do you call different school of thought have a different style of handling computer science. That's the reason the school of computer science here in USM, we don't. It's not say we don't encourage. We don't have much expertise in people who are doing totally questionnaire based or research and things like that, and we don't appreciate them much in here in school of computer science. Okay. So and later on you will know why. Okay, a discipline set upon its conceptual basis, the theoretical framework, the culture, or more generally, is a set internal logical approach to understanding some aspect of reality. Most of the time, whatever you do is basically a fundamental research, and you try to improvise most of the time. Okay, you almost I think 80% to 90% they always improvise. Okay, improve the accuracy, improve the performance. Okay, for a betterment and things like that. Okay. If CS is a science discipline, then it's required to follow a standard logical step in scientific investigation approach. Yes, but the truth is, but you don't based on every single, we don't unify them. Okay, obviously every single one who are doing research in the computer science, they are going to have a systematic way of doing their research. Okay, which is they follow certain rules. That doesn't mean that every single one are going to be follow the same rules. No. Okay, the way obviously you have a first chapter going to be introduction, second chapter going to be something about your problem statement, then you go for analysis, and then you have a discussion, and then you have a that's how you do in a thesis way. Okay, characteristic of scientific approach. If you look in the term of computer science here, we have positivism, reductionist. I think this one you don't need to be very what do you call in detail. The main thing is you need to be in the classical scientific approach that we use for computer science is our objective, which is clear, quantifiable, logic, and mathematically reasoning. Very important. This is how we really approach on that. Okay. So if you look at what is the research method in scientific, normally we try to mapping on this. Okay, what you get normally you get existing theory of observation based on the literature. From there, you try to get your hypothesis, and then what is the prediction that you are going to do. And from there, if you get the result, then you test. If you have a new observation, and then you compare with the existing one. Okay. So this is how you normally play around. Okay, but don't worry much about this. Okay, you might don't follow at all this in your research. Depending on your research, main thing is your research. You need to have your research topic. Next, your supervisor. For PhD student, you already have this, right? So next, continue how you going to tackle your research question. That's the main idea. Okay, so you don't want to have a very ambitious research question. You want to make sure what you write in your research question is something very clear, and make sure what you write is mapped to the objective that you're going to achieve. I don't want you to be ambitious. Again and again, I'm telling you this because I want you to finish, let's say, for PhD in 3 years' time. If let's say you have a 3 research questions, it's quite easy for you to really achieve in a 3 years' time. If you imagine you have 8 research questions, how are you going to do in 3 years' time? And each one of single research question, they might have their sub questions. So in that, in order to achieve the research objective, is not easy. And when you already propose, you have 8 research questions, and you cannot fulfill them during your during your viva time, that will give you a very bad impression that you don't complete your research. Understand? So it's very important. Okay, I see some questions coming up. Wait, I try to finish it up, then also I'll be back with the questions, okay? So the research methods or techniques used by researchers to conduct the research is considered as a research method. Okay, but there's a lot of definition of research methods. You can see in different books, they have a different school of thought as also has a different but most of the time we use this. Okay, the method, the technique that are used by researchers to conduct the research is considered as a research method. Okay, this means there will be a merit of a research method for you to choose from a different stages of a general specific approach. So which one to choose? It's always obvious. You also need to mention this with the justification when you choose. If you are comparing across, let's say you have a 7 different technique. You have a linear regression, you have a machine learning, okay, you have a SVM, you have a let's say different technique, and then you want to check on all these accuracies. Okay, no problem. Even that, if you don't choose, let's say the existing literature there's 14, but you only choose 7. You need to mention why you choose only 7 to compare with. Okay, if you choose only one, why you choose only this? So maybe you say this is most popularly investigated in the coming past 5 years. That's the reason why I choose to research on that. Something like that. So you need to back up with the whatever reason for you to choose for that kind of things. Okay, it's very important. Let's group them in the terms of a general scientific approach. Normally we talk here, this is what I mentioned earlier by the diagram, earlier one. Existing theory of observation we get from the literature review. Literature review, there's a lot of ways of doing literature review. Normally you go by typical way of doing literature review. But what I'm going to teach in this course, by helping by my student, which is Humair, we are going to give you something very new. Not to say new in this course, okay? Not new, because I used this in 2013, so it's not new anymore. Okay, it's been introduced by Barbara Kishan in 2008 or 2009. Okay, so it's quite old already. But the thing is, it's not that popular in Malaysia. But a lot of people out there already use them, systematic literature. Okay, which is very easy, but it's not that easy because it's very tedious. Sorry, I'm telling you very easy because once you do, it's going to be really complete. Okay, you just need to update after that. Okay, so if you do normal literature review, you need to back to your paper again, check again the information and come back. So it's not easy for me. If I'm using systematic literature review, it's much more detailed, and every single step that you carry out for systematic review will be recorded. Okay, it's very obvious. You cannot run away. So other people, if they want to do, they know what is the process you go through and how you come out. Okay, and because you mentioned from which year, from which month to which date. So with the research, the review that you did for the past 10 years or past 5 years or 15 years, things like that. So from there you get all the information. Okay. And sometimes you also can do pilot. Okay, sometimes we call pilot survey. Even literature review, we also can do pilot literature review. You can just do a small one and then see how is the pattern all about, and then carry out, and then from there you draft it, what you want to get to answer your research question. From there you do a thorough one, which is complete, maybe 10,000 literature, maybe only 500. You're not going to read all 10,000, right? You will, it's like how to say, okay, it's a quite chorong, how to say this, it's a bottleneck. Okay, so you're going to from the 1,000, maybe you go to 10,000, 10,000. From 10,000, maybe you go to 1,000. 1,000, you go to 500. From 500, maybe you go only 40. So from 40, maybe it's only related to the topic or the question that you're going to ask, only my 5, something like that. So depending on you. Okay, so don't worry, we can learn this in a hypothesis and prediction. Your proposed solution like algorithm or framework or protocol, this is quite famous. A lot of students will do algorithm, will do framework, will do looking at the protocol. Okay, typically methods that you use is statistical based, heuristic, AI, mathematical. Okay, based on that, if you look, it's depending on this one. You need to go back and see your literature, very important, and what is being popularly investigated. Then you follow that. And then if you want to do hybrid, why you choose only these two? You need to mention that as well. Okay, so you need to be clear with what you're doing and with the justification, very important. Test and a new observation. Once you have this, you can experiment again with the new environment. You want to test your result. So from there, you can also do simulation. Okay, you can have a different style of how you're going to carry out, depending on your research. Okay. 3 basic research types as classified by the Phillips. If you look, exploratory research, testing out research, and also problem solving research. Okay, what we normally do, we try to do either testing out research or also problem solving research. Okay, but which type of research is the most appropriate for the new researcher like you? Which one you think? Which one you think the most appropriate for the new researcher like you? Is it exploratory or testing out or problem solving? Yes.
For new researcher, it can be exploratory, I believe. Would be much
Exploratory. Okay.
less risky.
Any other one? Exploratory, you say less risky, is it?
It has to, perhaps.
Exploratory is not exactly less risky. If you look, the point is there, is already mentioned, it is risky. The reason why? Exploratory is something that you really, very little, nobody do much research on that area yet. Okay, you try to explore. Okay. But okay, good try, Asma. Thank you anyway. Testing out research or problem solving research. Real world problem here means not necessarily the whole this one. You can subdivide them, maybe take a small problem. Okay, I leave it to you which one you can think, but actually there's no right and wrong in this answer. Actually, all of them can be chosen, but basically it's more to see whether you suit to that particular type of research or not. Okay. Any question? Any question? Safest route to the second type.
So there's one question, if you allow me to.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Yes, in exploratory research, as you told us, there is very less data. So how we are gonna test our, hypothesis or model? Is this the risk that you're talking about?
Yes, true. If you have a very less data, you do go to that research. I already mentioned it is very dangerous. If you don't have a data set, for sure, don't step in.
Right, okay.
You already know beforehand you're going to have a difficulty with the data set. That's a very dangerous research. Unless you are ready to do and you have a time to do so to get the data set. If not, it's not easy. Okay?
Yes, thank you so much.
Why you, Asma, you're doing something with your data set? Can you share with me what you're doing?
Well, actually, I am in process of, shortlisting my data sets. I have a few options. So I have not been able to, finally, shortlist them from all of them.
What is the research? Can you share?
Yeah, it's about fake news detection. To detect fake news. Dr. Gan.
Okay. So it's a good, this one, don't worry. Okay, yeah. But the thing is, if you look, okay, your problem is now you don't get the data set or very little?
No, I actually have no problem. I have multiple options data set, but I'm in a process of, finding out the gaps and trying to narrow it down to some,
You're doing PhD or you're doing master?
Yes, PhD.
PhD, very good, very good. Okay. So you're in the right track. Don't worry. I mean, this is a process that you're going to do. Once you already have your data set, now you are trying to formulate, right? Your how you carry out and how you want to have your contribution to the body of knowledge.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay, so it will take time. Don't worry. But the thing is, you slowly will fine tune them. So don't worry about that.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Any other question that you want to ask related to?
Sir, I have questions.
Yes, please.
Doctor, there are many types of research. The first one, comparative research, explorative research, explanatory research, casual research, theory testing research, theory building research, actual research. What's the difference between them?
What? Sorry?
What's the difference between them?
What difference between them? You're asking what difference between the all each type that you mentioned?
Yeah, all type of research. Sorry,
If you
I
already,
can't hear you.
yeah, if you already have you already see all these different type of researchers, and then you ask what difference within them.
Yeah. Between them. What's
I cannot.
different between them?
What are the difference between them? Hello.
Yeah.
No, I cannot answer you that because main
Yes,
thing,
yes,
if you
doctor.
look, different is a way of doing this one. But at the end of the day, the topic is you try to solve the problem. Okay. So if you want to choose in a different way, different school of thought, there's a lot of ways of doing your research. Okay. And I always mention this as school of thought because some coming from a different ways of solving the problem. Okay. But end of the day, how you
Yes.
going to solve the problem is the one method. Second thing, for PhD thesis, let's say in Malaysia, okay, in Malaysia, in the School of Computer Science, USM, mainly talking about, okay, let's say for PhD thesis, what you is going to determine you're going to have your PhD thesis is based on your research and in a very systematic way, an approach way of doing your, you need to have your research methodologically correct, okay, and then how you do your approach, how you come up with the testing, how you do your analysis, all that. Okay, then only your thesis is completed. And in between, you can submit for your, what you call your papers and things like that. But certain university, let's say example in Sweden, every single papers that you write in, let's say you are sending to one conference, you're sending to one journal. Let's say you have 6 by the time only 3 years. Compilation of all these the what work that you did is considered as your thesis. That is in Sweden. That is the school of thoughts in Sweden. That means maybe you do your systematic review, you submit to IEEE ESS, and then got accepted. Okay, that's going to be chapter literature review. Understand? But in Malaysia, you cannot do that. When you do that, they call as a self-plagiarize. Because what we already published, you put it exactly same in the, what you call your thesis, that's considered as a self-plagiarize in Malaysia. You understand? Maybe I don't answer your question, but the thing is, this is how we call as a different school of thought. Okay, so in this case of different research styles, pattern, based on their school of thought and how they are going to use what technique, what research methodology that they want to use. But end of the day is the most important thing that in this research, when you doing research in the, let's say based on the ccs591, you going to solve your research problem, okay, using certain methodologies that appropriate to your research question, and then only you go carry on. Understand? To solve your problem. I hope I answer some of your questions. Is it clear? If you ask me to differentiate each and every single thing, I need to see who are they and how they this one. I cannot differentiate them. Sorry for that.
Yes,
okay.
clear that.
Any other questions?
Yes, doctor. I have a question that what you told me, it just made me a bit confused. For example, during my PhD, I have published 3 papers. And when I'm writing my final thesis, of course, I'm going to add all those findings into my complete thesis. But
Yes.
it will be self-plagiarized to some extent. So in Malaysia, is it exempted or not that self-plagiarism is somehow
You need
allowed?
to know
Because it's my
how.
own work.
I think Dr. Gan is well versed about that. Don't worry. She's well versed,
Okay.
and she's coming from University of Malaya as well. She knows what is mean by self-plagiarize and things like that. So not that to say that you cannot say anything about what you already published. You can do so, but you cannot take word to word from what you publish to put it in your thesis. You understand?
Right. You mean I mean I have to rephrase it just like we
maybe
do
replace it, and also maybe you even cite them, or you try to this one. Even old suggestions they don't allow sometimes. So you need to make sure whatever you already publish is there. But to support that, you're going to write in your as a storyline in your thesis. You cannot take every single thing and put it. Your result is there, it's okay, fine. You can put it. So it's the matter how you explain them. you don't write word to word and exactly same like the one you publish. You got it?
Okay. Yes,
But
thank
don't
you.
worry, Asma. I think Dr. Gan is well versed about that, and she knows how to tune your from without being called as a self-plagiarized.
Yeah, but
Okay.
actually, it happened with one of my colleague here in Pakistan. It got a very big issue because during the checking of the thesis, one of the copy remained left into the Turnitin account, and it was not removed. So, well, they were actually checking for the final submission. It got 95% of the similarity
Yes,
index.
true. That's
So,
right. Normally, it's
although it
depend
was
on the
sent,
supervisor. Also.
yeah,
Yes, true.
yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, although it was like from the same copy of her thesis, but she got a bit in trouble. My colleague.
Yes, that's
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 why.
the reason the supervisor's roles is very important.
Yes,
Who
yes,
choose the supervisor also very important. The supervisor should understand all this before they submit or they mention, okay, you are ready. If they say you are ready, but in the end they don't, and you also need to be honest with them that you mentioned, okay, this is from my paper. Is that okay to do it? But normally they are going to be they are your co-author, so obviously they know what is been already published in that paper in also be in the thesis. Okay, so at the end of the day, is back to back is going to be yours. You going to take huge responsibility, but your supervisor can, if he well versed, he can play the role to make sure it doesn't happen. Because you don't want to go until 13 check and then you have more than 50% or 90% is too much. Okay, even more than 15 or 20% of people already don't allow you to go for Viva. Okay, so
right.
don't worry about that. Okay, and if you really do your work, I don't think so you'll get caught in this one. Most of the time, anything will be result will be make sure you reject when they know you are really copy. Okay, that means it's not your work. It's not from originally from you. Okay, any questions? So you can check on the process method in the detail after this. Any question after this? Because all this is going to be talking about how in a concept of theory, existing theory, from there existing theory, what you get. Normally existing theory you will get from the what you call you can have your literature review. Okay, but literature review have a different ways of doing it. Okay, what I'm going to teach you and I want you to follow that is a systematic review. Some people are talking about thematical review. Some people are using a traditional review. But I strongly agree and I strongly believe that systematic literature review is the best way for you to carry out. But if you think that you don't want to do systematic review, it's okay. No problem. Because if your supervisor don't like or you don't want to do, it's up to you. No problem for your research. But part of this component of this course, there is a part where you need to submit a systematic literature review. So since you already learned and you're going to do part of this course, why not you do for your this one, what you call your thesis and things like that. So it just from me, okay, from my own experience, how systematic literature review helps, okay. Where does the problem statement and objective? What is the Raji? Can you talk, Raji? Sometimes I cannot see the questions. Raji, you are putting some question there. Sorry. Raji, can you someone read the question from Raji? Asma, can you read the question from Raji, please?
Yes, sir. Where does the
Can I
problem
hear you,
statement and
Raji?
where does the problem statement and objectives?
Asma, repeat again. Sorry.
Okay. The question says, where does the problem statement and objectives fit in this diagram? Which one should come first, literature review or the problem statement?
If you look, if you, I again ask you again, okay? If you have your research topic, right? What you will do? From the research topic, you're going to have your literature review or you're going to have your research problem statement. So obviously you're going to go and explore. Before you come even the topic, you're going to do your literature review. Okay? Because from the literature review, you're going to learn and you're going to, I mean, not to learn, to study. You are going to explore what is the existing theories or existing, what you call lacking part, the knowledge that you want to increase or you want to contribute to the body of knowledge based on the literature review. Okay, from there you're going to design, okay, your what you call research question. From research question, you're going to map to research objective. Understand? So it's not the matter of in the order of how you're going to deal. It's always vice versa. You're going to go and come back again doing your literature review. And literature review doesn't stop in the first year. It will also continue until you're the day of you going to submit. The reason why I say this, you need to update your literature at the end of the day. You understand? Because let's say you start in year 2021, right? This year. Okay, by the time you're going to finish is 2024. Okay, but your literature, most of the time, literature you already mentioned from which year to which year. Okay, let's say last 5 years until 2022. Sorry, 2020. Okay, but when you go to 2024, when you're going to present in Viva, the examiner will say all this research, the reference that you put is old. The reason why is more than 5 years. Okay, so you need to update your research. So if you say about orders, I won't say there's orders. You always come back again, you do again, you update, and then go and do your what do you call your experiment, and back to the literature. You try to add to whatever justification you want to make. So it's always back to back. Okay, there's no standard. Obviously, there's if you want to follow the right way, you will do your literature, and then you get a problem statement. From the problem statement, you design your research question. From research question, you design your research objective. I hope I answer you, Raji. Okay, so basically, if you look even this diagram, actually, basically how you look at them is where you're going to do, okay, where you are going to find your existing theory or observation. Obviously, you're going to look at the literature review, okay, and you might go for pilot survey. You want to get some small data set or small data. Maybe you want to find from the data from the people around you. You want to get a pilot means normally a small set. Okay, then only you go further and then do a complete one. Okay, and basically if you want to have a very what do you call subjective manner, you want to talk about hypotheses to prove them, okay, and then you create all these hypotheses and then you try to test them, okay, how it react, whether it's a true or false and things like that. So in the even you go to one level higher, you're going to check the confidence level. Okay, that one later Dr. Fadra will teach you about all this, okay, how the calculation, how to use ANOVA and things like that. Okay. Research method cover many stages of general scientific investigation, spanning from literature review method, stage 1 to the very specific research design, which is stage 3 to stage 4. Okay, core to its selection is the research question posed, as it determines some observations are held relevant, while other are irrelevant. Okay, the one method is chosen, the others are discarded. So it's always you test and run and try and test again, and then you come to the conclusion. Okay, so don't worry. Whatever you do, if you know everything, it's not considered as a research. Because you don't know, because you want to try, you want to experiment them. That's why we call them as a research. Search. Okay, the word research. Okay, so you're going to do again and again and to see which one is really compatible, which one is the perfect method. Even you already done, you already did, you already come out with the result, people are going to research again your topic. Believe me. Okay, so that's how research works. The iterative nature of scientific approach highlighted the need to continuous, refine, retune research questions. Okay, that's why I say even your title, don't worry. Until end of the day before you print, now we don't print your thesis, right? You send by soft copy. Until the end of you send the final version, your topic is always, not to say vulnerable, is always get tuned and changed until they find it's really tell the story. They want to make sure your storyline, your story, what you mentioned in your thesis, especially PhD, is reflected in your what you call your title. They don't want very lengthy title. So obviously, how to compare that one, even your examiner will help. Don't worry. I mean, your not only internal, external examiner also will help about a title. That is a bonus. Okay, their input, their expertise will be used in that sense. Okay, any question? Okay, I don't want to cover more. I just want to cover only these two based on the week 2. And I will have one replacement class, which is, I don't know when I'm going to give you. Actually, next week as well, I have another appointment where I'll be in KL that time. But I don't want to cancel your class for next week. Therefore, I will have the class in KL next week. I mean, live, since it's live, I will do it from KL itself. So there's no cancellation from this week, okay? I won't cancel any more class because we cannot afford to cancel more classes. Okay, I don't cancel the previous week because of Deepavali. I take the leave. So therefore, I will replace the 1 week. Okay, I will tell you by time. Okay, and for those for masters mixed mode, I will post in the e-learn. I think by Wednesday. Okay, by Wednesday, because I give time for the supervisors. Okay, the potential supervisors to put the I created the Padlet link. I asked them to just what do you call to put for us their what the research title and things like that for them to upload in the Padlet so that you can have their numbers, WhatsApp numbers, and even some they are giving WhatsApp number, handphone, personal handphone numbers, and also the topic so that you can choose from there. So I don't want to delay on that. I give them until Wednesday. Actually, the link is ready. Some of them is a previous one, so I want them to update them previous year's one. So if you look, it's already some already taken. Taken means people are already. So the lecturers, I think from Dr. Gan already mentioned it's taken. So it's a previous year. Okay, so you can check on that. I think I will post it. I promise you before Thursday. I mean, let's say I put it Friday 5 p.m. Okay, I will post it before Friday 5 p.m. Any question? Sorry, Wednesday next week 5 p.m. in the on the e-learn. Okay, for those who don't put your what do you call it, then please do so. As I mentioned it, there's no password for e-learn. I don't show your password because my password is for my view. There's no password for e-learn. If you get a problem on that, please contact Sheila. Okay. I don't know about the password for e-learn for your case. Okay. Any other student have a problem with the password for the e-learn? I think your password is your metric number or something. You need to register with that. Okay, I don't know about that. Okay, how your password works because I have my own password. Okay, that password is centralized for the whole USM system that I use. So I cannot reveal my password to you. Sorry for that. Okay, and my view and your view is different because my view is for editing. Okay, I can edit and I can some of the materials already there. I just hide them and then I open again for you to view and things like that. Okay, any question?
Sir,
Any
I have
question?
one question.
Yes, please. Thank you. Who's this?
So, my name is Deeban. I'm currently taking computer science mixed mode for masters.
Okay.
So about the topic, you'll be posting next week, right? So is it like, do we have deadline by when we need to select our supervisors?
The earlier the better because you can select means you need to talk to them, discuss with them. But if you look our plan in a week 5, you already get ready with your by week 5. Now it's week
Okay,
3. Yeah, week 4, week 5. Next week 4, then another week 5. That means you at least already decide who's your supervisor and topic. Okay.
okay, noted, sir. Thank you.
Okay, the maximum you can go week 6 lah. Don't go after that. Okay, sure.
Okay, sir.
From Malaysia, Diban.
Yes, doctor.
Okay, so you can direct look at the website and then I will put it the link easily. You can choose. That is for the
Sure.
for your side lah. Your as a student, don't worry. If I want to
Thank you, sir.
choose based on the web application, you wouldn't know. It's quite difficult. That's the reason why I put it in a Padlet. Actually, I can share and show you, but I scared you will contact straight away now, which is not right. Maybe I can show you, but please promise me you don't contact them yet, okay? Okay, wait. I stop sharing the first. How the Padlet will look like, okay? But please, that the link, don't copy this thing yet. I don't know whether what I'm doing this is right? Anyways, something wrong with it. Yes, maybe I showed you, but please don't contact them yet. Huh? Contact them after Wednesday. I show you this. This is going to be. So from there you can easily. This is how it's going to be look like the Padlet. So from there you can see. Okay, they will show you the title, who you can contact, what their address, what their name. Okay, what is the description? Some goes very nicely mentioned what is the research goal, what you should have, what is the program language you need. Okay, so it's easier for you. Is there already a research grant on that topic? Okay, understand? So this is how I'm going to give you, but please don't contact them yet. Is it clear? Do I answer your question? Any other question, please? I welcome your question. I think Asma is the one asking a lot of questions. Any other questions from other students? Thank you, Devan.
Okay, sir.
Yes, please.
Okay, Sunny Tijani.
What is that?
Sir, doctor.
Yes, please.
Hello, doctor.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. I'm little late after the break due to the problem that I explained to you last week. So I don't know if you take the attendance.
What's the problem?
My problem is I don't know if you take the attendance because attendance is very important for me. I am a